we are definitely trying to include it as part of the 90 Days campaign, Fight Against Crime. And so we're looking to start next week.
Awesome. What is the main message and aim to convey to students during these visits?
The main message mostly surrounds, the experiences of being incarcerated. Like, we really try to encourage youths, at all costs to avoid prison, because there are a lot of psychological and emotional factors involved. When you're incarcerated, your fundamental privileges are taken away, based on law. So we use that as one of the main focus, because some of the decisions that children make in this time especially do eventually lead to prison.
Right, that is so true. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Duport, for that. How do you think hearing directly from individuals who have been incarcerated will impact the students?
Well, in some instances, not because I'm in prison, a student may be able to relate to certain shared experiences, that I would have had, like growing up. I grew up without a father, so my mother had to play both roles. And I was not using it as a justification to say, like, this is why I made certain decisions, but that would happen naturally. And, well, I know of an incident, a guy lost his life as a result of gang violence. And currently, his child is attending, I think, his bachelorette, not washing. And he being jailed at on a daily basis. People telling him, oh, you're going to end up like your father and so forth, and that ain't a good thing. And that's why I was saying earlier that I do believe that these schools should implement a counseling faculty, because one teacher ain't going to be enough. Sometimes they have serious emotional problems, and that would cause them to act out in a certain way. And sometimes we sit back and we wonder, like, why is this child acting so? Well, what's going on with him? Why he possessed with a demon? These things we hear. Yeah, but the reality is that children do go through things, and I went through that. So I do use these experiences also, as a farm to, like, hoping that they can relate to me. And yeah, I do work with the results over the years. Ain't everybody gonna really, find the I must say, looking forward. Like, ain't every student would find comfort in that. You understand? But they would be able to relate and say, I understand where he's coming from. But at the end of the day, talking it ain't the resolution for the problem. We got to take proactive measures.
Right.
And in order to do that, we need programs with longer durations that would actually work. Also involving counseling.
I like that you spoke about the counseling faculty. Yes, they have counseling in schools, but it needs to enhance one. And it needs to, I think that the education system needs to revisit it. Because one, our culture thinks that counseling still is for crazy people. But as you say, we all go through stuff. And how do we relate to our youths, our children, as to you want help, seek counseling, seek. So it needs to be a whole holistic look at the counseling faculty or the counseling center. It needs to be revisited, because this is why we are losing our children.
Yes.
You're hearing this. You're hearing, I would not amount to anything. I'm going to die by the time I'm 20 because my dad died when he was 20. I'm hearing this. This is a mental.
Yeah.
And we always say that mental abuse is worse than the physical, because it repeats, and make it worse if your mother is saying it, your cousins are saying it, your friends are saying it when they get angry at you, your teachers are saying it. Where do you run for help? Where do you escape that safe space? And that is why safe spaces need to be created for our youths, and this is where we start.
That's right.
And in addition to that, one of the most sad experiences I have had while visiting these schools and talking to youths is that over the years I was able to actually create my own statistics when it comes to the amount of students at each school who could relate to having lost a father as a result of gang violence. So you will find secondary level, more than 4, more than 5 students who relate to the same thing. So we only have schools with fatherless children. We actually creating a nation of fatherless children.
Right.
You understand? So what will happen in the next 8 to 10 years with these children? Because they're going to go up, and most of them are males. You understand? So how are we going to target these children? What solutions we have? What are the recommendations?
It must start with identifying, as I said.
Yes.
It must start with counseling, and it has to be a long-term involvement. You said all the key points. You gave all the answers, so I'm hoping that persons above our level are listening, because it's a holistic effort, and it starts with the it starts from home, it starts from school, it starts from church. We need all the stakeholders on board.
That's true.
Yeah, because
Even primary school, not only high school, primary school level children,
Primary school.
preschool. You see, these children are fatherless.
Yeah.
So we're not just crying out for, yes, person might say, oh, the father chose the lifestyle or whatever. That is why we're here trying to join with different journeys with the 90 days. See how best that we can push. But after we've done our part, it needs long term. And I think that comes from the NIT too, which we have created, the different clubs, we have created a partnership with education. There's also a medic program was recently reinstated in the primary school. So things are happening, but it needs other, because we can't do it alone.
That's true.
We definitely cannot do it alone. Mr. Truport, thank you so much. I hope that persons are listening and they're realizing that this is coming from a different window. This is coming from a different window. And I love that you said, I did my stats.
Yeah.
I did my own stats. So you go back after these visits and you actually create your own stats as to what is going on in the environment.
It's a serious problem, man.
Yep. Can you share some of the common negative influence that you as an inmate would warn the students about?
Well, peer pressure is one. As a child growing up, you tend to think that behaving a certain way is cool. And ironic to say, these behavior patterns oftentimes intrigue girls in particular. For some reason there's an attraction. I don't know if it's something adapted from Hollywood, but it does happen. Right? And you were told, by some of the elder folks, elder children or elder kids, that, if you ain't do this, why people gonna feel like you're soft.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna fit in, and before you know it, you start to act a certain way. So you start to adapt to double personality. Use this person at home, because if your mother very strict, you can't behave a certain way. When you go back out in the school now, it's a different image you're projecting out there. So I would say peer pressure is one. And I always say, a friend, right? A true friend ain't gonna tell you to do something that is wrong. Because if he does, it means eventually when he gets in problem, he gonna want you to do the same. And you may not be up for that. So children also need to identify the difference between friendship and somebody who using you. And also familiarity and loyalty. Because some people saying they're loyal, but it ain't really loyalty. It's familiarity. They're familiar with you. You go up. But when certain things arise, they're going to be the first to bail out.
Right. It's happening.
Understand?
Yeah.
So even I do believe that they should even have programs about friendships or relationships in the school with peers. That is one of the common problems.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much. Yes, your points are really taken. I like that you said the friendship and familiarity is one of the things that we have to look at. What are some of the personal experience you can share that resonates with you from some of the students?
Personal experience, well, children, right? Well, most of them claim to live in a house, one at a home. And one of the most key elements that are oftentimes missing is love. Like we were discussing earlier, you know, a tablet, an iPhone, a PlayStation, you know, these things are becoming parents instead of their biological parents. You know, a child would go to school for 8 hours. You understand? And when they come back home, it's like you seldomly find a mother or a father who will sit down with a child and say, you know, ask the question, how was school today? How you feeling? You know, what you ate for lunch? You know, these kind of things lacking. And not only that, the parents them today,
Probably not even home.
they're so dwarfed in terms of the stature. It's like there's a biological shift in terms of growth. I don't know how it happened, may know if it's the food.
Go ahead.
But parents don't look like parents today.
Go ahead.
They look like children.
Yeah.
So just imagine, okay, I'm a boy. You know, I probably like 5 feet 8. And my father like 5 feet. I taller than him by inches. So there's no intimidation, there's no masculinity. You know, there's no authority. Like everybody in the same class. So you can't really identify who is the parent from who is the child. You understand? And some of the students them just say like, well, my father can't tell me nothing. He can't talk to me, my mother can't tell me nothing. And you know, what causing that? So I believe growth, there's a biological shift with respect to growth. That is one of the factors that actually causing children to not being children. I don't know if you understand.
I'm more than understand. You're taking me back to my counseling class.
So
yes.
That's funny you said that. Yesterday you talked to, we had a meeting with Officer Percival, who works trying to work on the program, and that was one of the points that I made to him. No children are getting children, and so there's no guidance, and I'm glad Travis brought that up.
Even for me, I'm a teenage mom. I'm a result of a teenage mom, and I always said I don't want to be labeled a teenage mom, just a statistic. And watching now, back then when you become a parent or you got pregnant, you had to shift into motherhood. But now there's not even an impact there. That you see them want to party children, them just born and you see them out there.
Yeah.
The maturity too. When it comes to the biological shift, the maturity level.
yeah.
Or we want to be our children's friends. That's what they do. If we don't know when the shift happened, but we're seeing a lot of parents want to be their children's friend. Like I told my nephew this morning, I have a nephew living with me, and he did something at school, like the teacher. Then I had to tell him that maybe introduce myself to you this morning. Because none of my children could have tried. But I had to introduce myself to him this morning. And I tell him, when you go to school, you're going to apologize to that child, you're going to apologize to the teacher for the stupid.
Yeah.
I was going, you're never going to do that again. You know, so, and the children don't understand they have superpowers, these manners and respect is superpower. It carry you places. But where do we go? Do we start parental classes from antenatal level? I think that needs to be discovered. Antenatal from parental. You can't come antenatal unless you're doing parental class. Something
needs to be done.
So gender affairs need to get on board and Ministry of Health.
Everybody needs. Everybody has a part to play. If you play a part, you'll be effective with it.
That's true.
we will overcome this disconnect
Yeah.
that is going on. Thank you so much. Wow, you have really taken us on a different level. As an inmate, how do you speak about the consequences of poor decision in your own lives to the students? Yeah.
Well, I speak about poor decisions in my life that resulted to the consequences I am now facing, in a way that, well, I would give personal stories too. For example, well, I've been charged, with murder, unfortunately. And as a result, I've spent 20 years and months incarcerated. I came to prison at age 19. I'm now 40. Understand? And I have a son, and my son is 20 years of age. He'll be making 21 in December, the 14th and the 14th. So it's like, for me, it started with, friends again. I used to, bang, as they would say. I hang around a group of guys. We had our own codes, our own way of, making our living. And, sometimes you will find yourself making a decision, not because you know it is the best decision to make, but you're doing it because those who are close to you doing it. And there are some benefits, that is the reality. But oftentimes the benefits are not long-term benefits.
Right.
They only survive for a very short period of time. Now, a situation happened, and a guy lost his life, and someone who was close to me, he went and he told the authorities, police, that I did the crime. And this is a guy who I was actually living. And as a result, I was tried, and they sentenced me to death. So I went on Carnival in the year 2006. I spent 2 years and 10 months. I advanced my appeal to the Caribbean Court of Justice, and I received a commutation, a document stating that, well, based on a lack of evidence, it wasn't justifiable for me to be further detained and condemned. So I would use that experience. God, trust me, prison on a whole is a very unkind place. You understand? And even more so, being in a cell alone for such a long period of time, it would damage you mentally, psychologically, and emotionally. I don't believe I could find the words to express how I actually felt, but everything was like bitter. Even to eat a meal, you can't enjoy it because subconsciously in your mind, there's one thing in there like lurking, and it's that. So I would use that experience, to encourage youths and say, like, every decision you make in life must result to something. It could affect somebody close to you, it could affect somebody distant from you. Nonetheless, it is a bad decision. You understand? And as a result of my bad decision, I am here. I don't want to be here, but because I know what it feels like to be on the other side of the fence after having made the decisions that I have made. You understand? I feel assaulted to relate, to the youths and the students at the schools that we do frequently visit. So I do use that main dark experience or period of my life as one of the, the ultimate means to get you to the youths.
Come back to the friends.
Come back to the friends.
Peer pressure. Everything.
Peer pressure.
You always start somewhere. You're going to start small, and you're going to just increase at compound weights until both, like everything just explode before you. But you don't too late. You know, so.
And this wasn't just somebody that you would meet on the road and they accept. This was somebody that you were actually,
I'm telling you, someone I actually looked up to.
I have a question. You would have had other friends otherwise than this particular friend.
Yeah.
How many of these friends still visit you?
I visited you earlier in this sentence too, yeah.
None actually.
I know.
Right? But, you know, while being in prison for such a long period of time, you know, I have come to know a few persons and, you know, we became cool and they started to show the support and so forth.
Awesome.
You know, but in terms of the friends I had before, no. Well, most of them died well. You understand?
I saw a young man that was in prison recently overseas, and he posted up that it was a song, and he posted up that every day in prison I wonder where my friends that I lying with for almost 20 hours a day, 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
He said not one of them I saw visit me.
And sometimes when they do see it's like, what going on? How you doing? What you want? And you might say, man, I just want some money. But before you know it, weeks, months, years passing, you want to know what's going on.
I was going to ask about stories, so but you answered the next question that I had, so I'll just break for now. So we can break and pay some bills. We're going to be right back. We're going to open the lines. Yes, pay some bills. We're going to open the lines. So, GQ, it's over to you.
It's Financial Information Month in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Financial empowerment through education. If you don't know what that is, let me tell you all about it. Learn to spend wisely. Invest to grow your money. Business stability. But financially. Help build the region's economy. Work to financial security. Prosperity for all of we. FIM is for you and me. FIM is for everybody. So tell your friends and your whole family. Financial empowerment through education. Build yourself and the entire region. Learn to spend wisely. Invest to grow your money. Business stability. But financially. Financial Information Month. Financial empowerment through education.
Funerals are expensive. They can put financial strain on relationships and even put families in debt for a long time. At Nagico, we offer the Nagico Serenity Plan, which allows you to make decisions about your final send-off, cover your funeral costs, and can go towards your final affairs like outstanding loans. Contact Nagico today for a free quote so that your goodbye can be done with dignity. Nagico Insurances, fast, fair, and always there.
Escape to the serene beauty of Belmont Sanctuary at Petition Hill, Sunday, October 27, for the elegant end of the month champagne brunch from 11:30 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. Indulge in exquisite cuisine and sparkling champagne at our renowned restaurant, The Kitchen. Experience luxury, taste perfection, and create memories with us. Secure your table today. Call 465-7388 or email reservations@petitionhill.com. Belmont Sanctuary Resort at Petition Hill, where elegance meets fine taste and tranquility.
Join us in St. Kitts and Nevis. Over 5 decades of uniting culture, music, and spirit in one unforgettable celebration. Here, the energy is infectious, the vibes electric, where every corner of the island pulses with life. Sugar Mass 53, St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival. December 13th, 2024, January 2nd, 2025. 20 days of non-stop carnival revelry. It's the only place to be. Sugar Mass 53.
Good morning to everyone and welcome back to Policing with You. I am your host, Shaman Adane. With me I have Virgil Hodge from His Majesty Prison and Travis Duport, who is also an inmate there at the...
Is it also?
sorry. Who is an inmate at His Majesty Prison? He's one of the representatives for the ambassador of the youth school program. We have been having a very healthy conversation with Mr. Duport. The lines are open that you can call if you have any questions to ask or to support this initiative that we are going into the schools Monday. Very aggressive, very excited to see how we can foster a relationship with our youth. We have a call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just called to support. You're all doing a very good job. And I would like to say that I'm very proud of my cousin Travis. I know what he's saying is truth, because as a prison justice, I used to visit the prison, I used to visit him. Before that, I used to go to lecture to them. And he was very bitter. And in his bitterness, he never used to speak. He was one of the silent, bitter people. Mm-hmm. And I am happy to see that Travis came a long way. I'm sure if Mr. Natal is listening, he will be...
We lost that caller. Caller, feel free to call back. Do you get any more calls? Okay, we're gonna dive right back into our questionnaire. Mr. Duport, how do you discuss the importance of education and a positive role in your talk to our students?
How would I discuss? Mm-hmm. How would I?
How do you do it?
How do you do it?
Well, okay. I attended last year junior high, and I never really had good grades, right? And ironically, I came to prison and the opportunity was afforded, to me to get involved and take some courses. Well, I have 2 subjects, English and Principle of Business, right? And it shows that, in spite of the circumstances, you could still make something of yourself. I have a mind, you understand, and I have time. But students out there also have time. And sometimes you got to prioritize. As we discussed earlier with the PlayStation and the iPad and so forth, these things actually take up a lot of time too. And I believe children should invest more in the time with the guidelines, or the guidance of the parents also. To show them the difference between preferences and priorities. So I would relate to them and show them education is something we need, because we need to be informative. We're living in a democratic society, you understand, and as we go older we're going to need legal employment and
right.
so forth to provide for us and our family and support our personal needs and so forth. So
okay, thank you so much. We have a call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I am calling from Miami, and this program is so touching this morning. I have a doctor's appointment this morning, and I can't even go to the appointment because I'm listening to these guys talking. It's very, very, very informative, and I wish that all parents, especially the young ones and the single ones, could be listening, because parenting does not come with a manual, and we all are still to make mistakes, and sometimes we are afraid to admit to the kids that
we make mistakes. But we can tell them we are sorry sometimes, because sometimes it's our fault. But the younger, he also made me laugh because he said that now parents don't look like parents because they are so small. But my grandmother used to tell me, you may be small, you may be big like me, but you ain't old like me. And so then we still had to know we had to respect them, right? But as he's saying, it is a fact, because we know when you look at grandmothers in days gone by, there used to be people that back then in the 70s and in the 60s, and you know, but now the young people, the children are getting children, so when you get a child at 15, when you're 30, you're still young, you know? And it's really it's really disheartening. And he touched me so much when he said that he's not using his life as a pity party, because he did make wrong decisions. You know, he did make wrong decisions. And sometimes we as parents, we fault these children because we say, you just like your father, you just like your father, you just like your father. And for people to be telling you these things, you know, you know, because even I am a bit on the heavy side, and people say, you're just fat. It hurts. Sometimes you put up a big show and you laugh, but deep inside it hurts. Because when people tell you these things, if you somebody hit you, just think it will heal. But when people tell you these things, it just play over and play over in your memory all the time. Right? And this morning, their program is a blessing. I wish more people just listen and listen to them, because they're calling out. And the children in youth, I mean, in school, they're acting out, as he said. Sometimes you wonder why these children are acting so. But it's things on their mind. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know. They want an avenue. A place where they can release and be themselves. You know, and sometimes we experience something when children come to us to talk to us. We say, go sit down, move, go sit down. You know, and I've learned in America that children have voice.